What's going on, guys? DigiDestin here, back again with another pickup video for you. I'm very excited about this one because this one's a pretty decent haul, and it's actually from an estate sale, and I love estate sales. I don't get to go to them too often, but you know, every now and then I'll stumble upon one and I'll manage to bring out a couple things, one or two things, but this one came out with a whole bunch of stuff. On top of that, there's also a bunch of thrift finds, and I will cover those before we get into the estate sale one. So just a couple things from Goodwill. We have ourselves a PlayStation Move controller, which is always nice. This one was $7. $7. And this is just an N64 power adapter, and that was $6. Both are very good to have. You know, these are still relevant with the use of the PSVR. So if you're playing something like Beat Saber or other movement games on the PSVR, then this will come in handy. Of course, it's always good to have an extra power supply here and there for loose consoles. We have some Game Boy finds. So this came from OfferUp here. This is the NES edition of the Game Boy SP, along with one of these Game Boy Advances. So it was a late night haul on OfferUp. Stumbled upon the ad. It's about 2 in the morning, so it was pretty sketchy, but the guy was only 10 minutes from me, and he wanted, I think it was $50 for the both of these. So this one I can always use for mods and giveaways, so that's what I plan on doing with this. No battery pack, and it's pretty beat up, but this one itself I'm probably going to leave in its current state and condition. Yeah, it's kind of beat up, but I've never owned this edition of the SP, and I've always wanted it. So until I can come across one that's in better condition, I'll probably keep this one for myself. So as you can see, the label is pretty roughed up, scuffed up, well loved. Same thing with that top cover, but it does turn on, does hold a charge, turns on, and also came with a copy of Super Mario Land. So $50 for those. Very excited to have that special edition SP. As for another second-hand store find, we have Pac-Man Fever from Half Price Books. This is the vinyl. This is the record of the song Pac-Man Fever by Buckner and Garcia. I have a copy of this already. This was only $10. I got my initial copy from Valley Village, but the main difference is it doesn't come with the sleeve. And the cool thing about the sleeve is it's got Pac-Man related graphics on it. So very cool, and some copyright information. So I'll be using this to replace my personal copy, and then my initial copy that I got will probably be used for trade or something. I might bring it to one of our shows. Alright, moving on to this estate sale haul. So this was an estate sale posted up on Craigslist, and they did say no early birds, but we decided to show up maybe like 10-15 minutes early, and lo and behold, they already opened up the doors and let everybody in. So in the ad, going back to the ad, in the ad they had just descriptions for everything. They had pictures, they had a whole bunch of systems, like 3 NESs, 1 Super Nintendo, bunch of games and accessories and all that good stuff. And when we got there, since there were so many people inside the sale in the house already, we figured that all the video game stuff would be gone. But when we got downstairs where the video game stuff was located, basically all the stuff was there except for maybe the Super Nintendo and 2 of the NES systems were gone. All the games were still there, all the accessories were still there, and we just started grabbing things and putting it in the bag. So first thing I want to show you that we got out of it is this thing right here. It's just a cleaning kit, pretty standard cleaning kit for your games. So this is for Sega, Genesis, Master System, Nintendo, Super NES, and Atari. Basically what the 1-Up card is right now. This is just an older version. Comes with the manual and all the different sizes of scrubbers for your games. Came with this guy here. This is the original DMG Nintendo Game Boy. It works with batteries in it. Yeah, it works, but the only problem is there's some pixelated lines on the screen. That's something I know how to fix, so that'll be a good, fun little project to take care of. We have the cords here. We have some standard composite cords, AV cords for Super Nintendo and the NES. We have the power cord for the Super Nintendo. It's really surprising that the person who picked up the Super Nintendo didn't get the cords with it. Alright, as for the games, so just a few games here. Picked up some NES ones. We have the original Mario Bros, the arcade edition. We have Adventures of Lolo, a very fun puzzle game if you haven't played it, made by HAL Laboratories. We have Gyromite, a better copy than I have, so this would be an upgrade, with the manual as well. Bible Adventures, one of the Wisdom Tree games, and this also comes with the manual in the sleeve. This would be my second Wisdom Tree game. Not sure if I want to keep it, so if not, it'll be going into trade. We have some Super Nintendo games here. And don't get me wrong, this estate sale had a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't cheap per se. It wasn't like our $1 PlayStation estate sale haul. Each game was about $10 each, so it was kind of pricey. But either way, they're worth it because we paid under what we should have for all of it. So for Super Nintendo, we have Tetris Attack. And all the games are in okay shape. They're not in the greatest condition. I believe this was an older gentleman that owned them, and there was a lot of dust on these cartridges when I got them. We got Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Country 3 to complete the trilogy. We have Super Mario World, classic in any Super Nintendo collection. Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Super Mario All-Stars. And like I mentioned, all these games were priced at $10, but because we bought a lot of it, we got a nice little bundle deal on it. Tetris and Dr. Mario. We got some Game Boy games. We have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Fall of the Foot Clan in its little clamshell case. Double Dragon 2. Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters. I heard this one's an excellent Kid Icarus game. Haven't played it yet. And Batman. Alright, and to round out the games, the very last one, we have a boxed copy of Super Mario Bros. 3. In pretty decent shape. The cool thing I like about this is, if we open it up, we have this little sheet here, a laminated sheet. It's always fun to find stuff like this from past gamers. This is Floating Spade Matching Game from Mario 3. So they essentially wrote down on grid paper ways that you can always find the matching characters and symbols on the matching board mini game. Always turn first card in center row first. So cool little tips and tricks for people that were dedicated to their game when the game first came out. You know, they really learned their game. That's how much they enjoyed it. Another cool thing here from the estate sale, this cool little cartridge holder. It's a Nintendo cartridge holder. Pretty simple, which lid pops right off. Holds about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 10 games. So if you got 10 games, you can just put them in there. Good for easy storage. Carry them around without worrying about damage. We have a few manuals. Super Mario Bros. 2. And Kirby's Dream Land. And another manual here. This is the Super Nintendo manual poster. How to hook it up to your TV, as well as now you're playing with Superpower sort of thing. I'll open it up so you can see. That's pretty cool. That'd be a cool thing to have framed, or even the instructions. Having that frame would be cool as well. Set that pen over here. And then we have how to set up your Nintendo Entertainment System manual, featuring the Rob. This one's kind of in rough shape. It's got that water damage there. And then the very last pickup of this estate sale, which I'm very excited for personally, is because it's the first one I've ever owned. And it's fully functional as well, which is awesome. It is a Rob, Nintendo Rob, Robotic Operating Buddy. Look at that. This one's very cool. And this is the variant. It's the Cyclops eye. So normally, if we're looking at like this Rob here, you can see that he's got the two separate eyes with like that ventilation or striping between each eye. This is the one that doesn't have that. It's just one glass, one eyepiece. So I think that's pretty cool to have. This thing is fully functional. I've tested it, which is awesome. It's got both gyros. It's got the controller holder, so you can play the game with it. It's got the gyro spinner, which also works. The only problem about the gyro spinner, it's missing the battery cover. You know, I'll try to find one of those on eBay or something, or even find somebody to 3D print it for me. And then the only other thing that this is missing is one of the claw hands for Rob. So you see this gray claw hand. It's used to grab the gyro top. Came with the Gyromite game. But the thing is, these do come off, so I can see how somebody can lose it in the past. But they're not exactly required to play Gyromite, which is a nice thing. So I was able to play it without the second claw hand. Eventually I would like to get the second claw hand just to complete it out along with that battery cover. But otherwise, it's fully operational, it's fully functioning, there's no issues, you know, with it whatsoever. So I'm very excited for that. Also comes with the battery cover for Rob itself too. So very cool pickup. I'm just glad that the person running the sale, this was a privately run sale, wasn't one of those estate sale groups or estate sale businesses, but it was a private sale. I'm just glad that the person that sold it to us was willing to work with a price. He did look it up in terms of pricing and had an idea of what all this stuff was worth, but we were able to negotiate a good price so we could take it home because of all the stuff that we ended up buying. So we did pay much less than what all this is worth, but either way I figured it'd be worth it for me because I've always wanted a Rob for my collection. So those were all my pickups for this week. We had the estate sale hauls, secondhand store hauls, lots and lots of great stuff. But if you did like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out some other videos. I have other pickups, tips and tricks, gameplays, as well as streams. And with that being said, we'll see you guys on the next one.